Imagine walking into a room where everyone turns their head, not because of what you're wearing, not because of how you look, but because of the energy you carry, the presence that says without words, I know who I am, I know what I stand for, and I know where I'm going. That is what it means to be a truly smart woman. But here's the truth. Most people misunderstand what it means to be smart. They think it's about having the highest degree, speaking the loudest, or always being right. That's not it. Being smart isn't about knowing everything. It's about knowing yourself, knowing others, and knowing how to move through life with intention and power.
Let me ask you,
How many times have you been underestimated, dismissed, or told to just let it go? How many times have you felt you had to shrink yourself to make others comfortable? That ends now. Because the smartest woman in the room isn't the one who bends to fit in. She's the one who sets the tone, the one who decides the standard, the one who can walk away without hesitation when something no longer serves her. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you 7 rules that will transform the way you see yourself, the way others treat you, and the way you command your life. These aren't ordinary rules. They're battle-tested. They're the difference between being overlooked and being unforgettable, between being taken advantage of and being unshakable. And I'll tell you this, you don't need anyone's permission to become that woman. The only permission you need is your own. So the question is, are you ready to stop playing small and start becoming the smartest version of yourself? Imagine walking into a room where every eye naturally shifts in your direction. No one knows why. It's not because of the dress you're wearing. It's not because of your makeup, your hair, or even the smile you flash. It's something deeper, something invisible, something you can't buy. It's your presence, a presence that speaks before you do, a presence that says, I am here, I know who I am, I don't need to prove myself to anyone. That's the kind of presence that belongs to a truly smart woman. But let me tell you something, most people get this wrong. They think being a smart woman is about being the loudest voice in the room, or the one with the highest degree, or the one who can spit out facts and figures faster than everyone else. That's surface level. That's not power. Being smart isn't about knowing everything. It's about knowing yourself and knowing how to move through the world with intention, awareness, and strength. Think about it. How many times have you been told to shrink yourself? To stay quiet, to just let it go? How many times have you downplayed your own brilliance so others wouldn't feel uncomfortable around you? That is the game society trains women to play. To make yourself small, to make yourself soft, to make yourself easy. But let me ask you, where has that ever gotten you? Did it earn you more respect? Did it make people take you more seriously? Or did it just make you invisible? Here's the truth. You don't become smart by making yourself small. You become smart by refusing to be overlooked. You become smart by commanding respect without ever having to beg for it. You become smart by making decisions that align with who you are and where you're going, even if that means standing alone. Now, I'm not here to sugarcoat this. Being a smart woman is not about perfection. It's not about doing everything right. It's about being prepared. It's about knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. It's about knowing which battles are worth fighting and which ones deserve nothing more than your silence. Because here's a secret. The smartest women don't waste their time proving themselves to anyone. They conserve their energy, they protect their peace, and they use their power with precision. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're in a meeting. You have an idea. You know it's good. You hesitate. You wonder, what if they laugh? What if they dismiss me? What if they don't take me seriously? And then someone else, maybe a man, maybe another person, says the exact same thing you were about to say. Suddenly everyone is nodding, applauding, agreeing, and you're sitting there thinking, that should have been me. A smart woman doesn't let that moment slip away. She doesn't stay silent out of fear. She knows her voice carries weight, and she uses it not recklessly, not all the time, but at the right time. Because being smart isn't about always talking. It's about speaking in such a way that when you do, people stop, people listen, and people remember. Here's something else you need to understand. Being smart isn't about being liked. It's about being respected. You can spend your entire life trying to be liked, pleasing everyone, agreeing with everyone, bending over backwards so nobody ever feels uncomfortable around you. But let me ask you, when you leave the room, will they respect you? Will they remember you as someone who stood her ground? or someone who played it safe. Respect is what lasts. Respect is what opens doors. Respect is what makes people listen. When you walk into a room, and respect only comes when you respect yourself first. That's where being a smart woman begins. It begins with you deciding, I will not settle for less. I will not betray myself. I will not make myself small to fit into a world that was never designed to contain me in the first place. Now you might be thinking, that sounds powerful, but how do I actually become that kind of woman? That's exactly what we're about to dive into. Over the course of this conversation, I'm going to give you 7 rules, 7 ways to redefine what it means to be smart, to shift how you see yourself, and to change the way others see you. These are not just ideas, they're tools that will allow you to command respect, protect your peace, and step into the kind of confidence that no one can shake. But before we go there, I need you to understand this. The smartest woman in the room isn't the one with the perfect answers. She's the one who knows how to read the room. She's the one who knows when to lean in and when to walk away. She's the one who understands that silence can be louder than words and presence can be stronger than noise. She's the one who doesn't need validation because she's already validated herself. So let me ask you right now, are you living like that? Or are you still waiting for someone else to give you permission to step into your power? Because here's the truth, no one is going to hand it to you. No one is going to say, now you're ready. The only permission you need is your own. The only validation that matters is the one you give yourself. And here's the part that might sting a little. If you don't decide who you are, someone else will. If you don't take control of your life, someone else will control it for you. If you don't set the standard, the world will set it for you. And it will always set it lower than what you deserve. Being a smart woman means refusing to let that happen. It means owning your identity, protecting your space, and never letting anyone else write your story. It means walking into every room with the quiet confidence of someone who knows she belongs there, even if no one else thinks she does. So, as we begin this journey together, I want you to think about this. Who do you want to be when you walk into that room? Do you want to be liked? Or do you want to be respected? Do you want to blend in? Or do you want to stand out? Do you want to live small? Or do you want to live smart? Because the choice is yours. And over the next 7 rules, I'm going to show you exactly how to choose wisely. Let's begin with the first foundation of a smart woman. The ability to control her emotions instead of letting them control her. Too often, people confuse strength with how loudly you can react, how passionately you can argue, or how quickly you can show anger when something goes wrong. But real strength, real intelligence, it's when you remain calm while the world is losing its mind around you. It's when you hold your composure while others are trying to provoke you. The smart woman doesn't let her emotions hijack her decisions. She doesn't let anger, jealousy, or insecurity dictate her behavior. She understands that emotions are natural, but she also knows that reacting impulsively is exactly what others expect her to do. And when you do what's expected, you lose power. Picture this, you're in a heated conversation, someone throws a cutting remark at you, hoping to get under your skin. Most people would lash out instantly. They'd take the bait. But a smart woman? She pauses. She takes a breath. She studies the person in front of her and thinks, why are they trying so hard to provoke me? What are they afraid of? She knows that the one who keeps control always has the upper hand. Because here's the secret, when you control your emotions, you also control the situation. And it's not about suppressing how you feel. It's about choosing when, where, and how to express it. The difference between someone who is easily manipulated and someone who is respected often comes down to this skill. The smart woman never hands her power away by letting someone push her buttons. She learns to master her composure. And when you master that, people start to notice. They start to realize they can't rattle you, they can't predict you, and they definitely can't control you. That's when they begin to respect you, even if they don't like you. Now let's move to something just as powerful. The people you allow into your life. Protecting your energy is non-negotiable. If you want to become a smart woman, the people around you influence how you think, how you feel, and even how you see yourself. If you're surrounded by negativity, gossip, or drama, it's only a matter of time before it seeps into your own life. And you may not even notice it happening at first. That's the dangerous part. It creeps in quietly, like smoke filling a room. Before you know it, your own energy is drained, your goals feel heavier, and your confidence starts to fade. A smart woman pays attention to her circle. She asks herself, do the people around me push me forward or pull me back? Do they add value to my life, or do they take from it without ever giving anything in return? The truth is, not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone should have the privilege of your time, your trust, or your energy. And it takes courage to cut people off when you realize they don't belong in your circle anymore. But that courage is exactly what separates the smart from the average. Think about it. Every strong, influential woman you admire is selective with her circle. She doesn't entertain constant drama. She doesn't keep people close who belittle her dreams. She doesn't waste her time trying to fix those who don't want to change. Instead, she surrounds herself with people who challenge her to grow, who respect her boundaries, and who want to see her succeed. That's not selfish, it's survival. Because the truth is, you cannot build a powerful life with weak foundations, and weak foundations are created by weak relationships. So I ask you this, who in your life is draining you? Who in your life always has something negative to say? Who do you find yourself making excuses for over and over again? Those are the very people who are dimming your brilliance, and a smart woman knows when to step back. She knows that protecting her energy is not cruelty, it's clarity. Now let's talk about the third foundation. Never stop learning. This is one of the most underestimated qualities of a truly smart woman. Because intelligence isn't fixed. It isn't something you're just born with. It's something you sharpen over and over again like a blade. The moment you think you know everything, you stop growing. And the moment you stop growing, you make yourself vulnerable to being left behind. The smartest women are curious. They're constantly reading, observing, asking questions, paying attention to the world around them. They don't rely on outdated knowledge. They adapt. They evolve. Because the world is always changing, and if you want to stay powerful, you have to change with it. Let me put it this way. Imagine two women walk into the same opportunity. One hasn't bothered to learn anything new in years. She's comfortable, stagnant, convinced that what she already knows is enough. The other woman has been studying, listening, expanding her skills, even when nobody was watching. When that opportunity shows up, who do you think will be ready? Who do you think will stand out? It's not about being the smartest in the room today. It's about being prepared to be the smartest in the room tomorrow. And learning isn't only about books or classrooms. It's about life. It's about observing people, watching patterns, and reflecting on your own mistakes. Every failure you've experienced carries a lesson, but most people are too busy complaining to learn from it. A smart woman doesn't just go through life. She grows through life. She doesn't repeat the same mistakes over and over. She extracts the lesson and she moves forward sharper than before. So ask yourself, are you feeding your mind every day? Are you challenging yourself to think differently, to see differently, to act differently? Or are you staying in the same patterns, waiting for something to change? Because nothing changes until you do. When you combine these three foundations, emotional control, protecting your energy, and never stopping your growth, you build an unshakable base. You become someone who cannot be easily manipulated, who cannot be easily drained, and who cannot be easily underestimated. People look at you differently, not because you've told them who you are, but because they can feel it. They can sense that you are composed, that you are intentional about your circle, and that you are constantly evolving. That is the foundation of a smart woman. And without that, the rest doesn't matter. Because if you cannot master yourself, protect yourself, and grow yourself, the world will gladly take advantage of you. But if you can, if you choose to build on these three foundations, you'll discover something incredible. You don't have to chase respect, chase recognition, or chase opportunities. They will come to you because you've built yourself into the kind of woman who commands them naturally. Let's talk about the kind of armor every smart woman must wear if she wants to walk through life without being broken down by it. Because here's the truth. The world will test you. People will test you. Life will test you. And if you don't have the right protection, You'll find yourself depending on others to save you instead of knowing how to save yourself. That's why financial independence and the power of strong communication are two of the most unshakable forms of armor you can ever build. First, let's talk about money. Some people don't like this conversation because it makes them uncomfortable, but avoiding it doesn't change the truth. Financial independence is not a luxury, it is survival. It is one of the most powerful shields a woman can carry. When you depend on someone else for your livelihood, your choices shrink. You feel the weight of needing their approval. You silence yourself to keep the peace, not because you agree, but because you're afraid of losing the security they provide. That isn't freedom. That isn't intelligent. That's living in a cage, even if the cage looks golden. A smart woman understands that money is not just currency. It's freedom, it's options, it's protection. It means you can walk away when something no longer serves you. It means you don't have to stay in a toxic relationship because you're worried about where you'll live. It means you don't have to tolerate a disrespectful boss because you're afraid you won't be able to pay your bills. Financial independence means you can make decisions from a place of strength, not fear. And let's be clear, being financially independent doesn't mean you have to be the richest woman in the world. It means you have control. You know where your money is going, you're building, saving, investing in yourself and your future. Even if it's small, even if it's one step at a time, you are creating a safety net that no one can take away from you. Because the moment someone knows you, depend on them, they know they have power over you. And power in the wrong hands becomes control. I want you to think about this. How differently would you walk through the world if you knew that no matter what, you could take care of yourself? If you knew you could walk away at any moment without fear of what comes next? That kind of security changes how you speak, how you carry yourself, and how you make decisions. It gives you the ability to say no, and there is nothing smarter, nothing stronger than a woman who can say no without hesitation. Now let's move to the second piece of armor. Communication, because money will give you freedom, but communication will give you influence. And influence is everything. The way you speak, the way you present yourself, the way you carry your voice, this is how people decide whether to listen to you or dismiss you. Most people think words are just words. They aren't. Words are power, and the delivery of those words can build empires or burn them to the ground. A smart woman knows how to use her voice strategically. She understands that yelling doesn't equal strength. Begging doesn't equal influence. Silence doesn't equal weakness. Communication is about balance. It's about tone, timing, and presence. Think about it. When you walk into a room and open your mouth, are people leaning in to hear you, or are they tuning you out? That has nothing to do with volume and everything to do with presence. Presence in communication comes from confidence, and confidence comes from clarity. When you know what you stand for, when you know your values, when you know what you will and will not accept, it naturally shapes the way you speak. You stop over-explaining. You stop apologizing for existing. You stop asking for permission in your words. Instead, you start using language that is direct, firm, and intentional. For example, imagine you're at work and someone interrupts you. The insecure woman might shrink back, let them take the floor, and sit in silence. The angry woman might snap, lash out, and create unnecessary conflict. But the smart woman, she calmly, firmly says, I wasn't finished speaking. Let me complete my thought. Notice the difference. She doesn't lose her cool, but she doesn't let herself be walked over either. That is power. That is communication as armor. And it's not just what you say, it's how you carry yourself while saying it. Body language is louder than words. A slouched posture, avoiding eye contact, fidgeting with your hands. These all tell people you doubt yourself, even if your words are strong. But when you sit or stand tall, when your voice is steady, when your eye contact is direct, you send a message before you even say a word. I know who I am, and I expect to be heard. Communication is also about listening. Most people talk too much, trying to prove themselves. The smart woman knows the real strength lies in listening, observing, picking up on the words people choose, the emotions they hide, the patterns they reveal. She listens, not just to respond, but to understand. Because when you truly understand someone, You hold the power of knowledge. And knowledge, combined with strong delivery, makes you impossible to ignore. Put financial independence and powerful communication together, and you have armor no one can penetrate. Because when you don't need anyone to survive, and you know how to make people listen, you become untouchable. People can't manipulate you with fear because you've built security. They can't silence you with intimidation because you know how to command your space. They can't control you because you've armored yourself with independence and influence. And here's the beautiful part. This armor isn't about becoming hard, cold, or unapproachable. It's about becoming unshakable. It's about knowing that no matter what storm comes your way, you have the tools to protect yourself and move forward. That is what makes a woman truly smart. Not just knowledge, not just emotion, not just ambition, but the armor that keeps her safe and allows her to move through life with confidence and dignity. So ask yourself right now, are you building that armor? Are you taking control of your money, even in small ways, so that you're never forced into decisions out of fear? Are you sharpening your voice, your body language, your presence, so that when you speak, the world has no choice but to listen? Or are you still waiting for someone else to hand you freedom, someone else to speak for you, someone else to save you? Because here's the truth, no one is coming to save you. You have to build your own armor. And once you do, once you've created that shield of financial independence and mastered the weapon of strong communication, you'll notice something incredible. You'll stop chasing respect. Respect will come to you. You'll stop demanding to be seen. You will be seen. You'll stop begging to be heard. You will be heard. Because you've armored yourself with the very things that make you impossible to dismiss. Everything we've talked about leads to this moment. The moment where you decide who you're going to be moving forward. Because listening to ideas, hearing rules, nodding along to powerful words, that part is easy. But what separates the smart woman from the average one is not what she knows, it's what she does with what she knows. Knowledge without action is nothing more than wasted potential. Action is the bridge between the life you have right now and the life you want to create. And that bridge can only be built by you. So let me ask you, what are you going to do with what you've just heard? Are you going to walk away and let these rules become just another piece of motivation that fades as soon as the day is over? Or are you going to take one of these rules, just one, and start putting it into practice right now? Because real change doesn't happen when you try to overhaul your entire life overnight. Real change happens when you choose one thing and commit to it consistently until it becomes a part of who you are. Maybe for you, the first step is learning to control your emotions instead of reacting impulsively. That could mean pausing before responding when someone disrespects you, or giving yourself the space to think before you reply to that text, that email, that comment. It may seem small, but those pauses are powerful. They create space for you to decide instead of simply react. And every time you practice it, you strengthen your composure until it becomes second nature. Or maybe your first step is to protect your energy by cutting off toxic relationships. I won't lie to you, that's hard. Walking away from people you've known for years, people you love but who don't love you in the right way, people who drain you more than they support you. That takes courage. But a smart woman knows that not everyone can come with her to the next chapter. And sometimes the smartest thing you can do is release what's weighing you down, so you can rise into the life you deserve. For some of you, the call to action will be financial independence. Start small if you have to. Save a little. Learn how to budget, invest in a skill that will increase your earning potential, do something, anything that puts you in a position where you no longer feel trapped because of money. Even the smallest steps add up. Remember, independence isn't built overnight. It's built brick by brick, decision by decision. And maybe for others, the action you need to take is mastering your voice. That might mean speaking up in a meeting even though your hands are shaking. It might mean practicing saying no without over-explaining yourself. It might mean carrying yourself with more authority, even when you don't feel it yet. Because confidence is built through repetition. The more you speak with strength, the stronger your voice becomes. And eventually, you'll realize that your voice was powerful all along. You just had to start using it. But here's the most important thing I want you to remember. You don't have to get it perfect. You don't have to master all 7 rules today. You don't have to wait until you feel fully ready. Being a smart woman is not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about being just a little wiser, a little stronger, a little more intentional every single day. That consistency is what transforms you. That discipline is what builds you. And don't think for a second that this journey will be easy. People will resist the new version of you. They'll say you've changed, and you will have, because you're no longer willing to play small. They'll test your boundaries because they're used to you saying yes when you really wanted to say no. They'll question your choices because it makes them uncomfortable to see you rise. But understand this, their discomfort is not your problem. Their resistance is not your responsibility. The only responsibility you have is to yourself, to your growth, to your future. So from this moment forward, I want you to make a decision. Decide that you will no longer wait for someone else to validate you. Decide that you will no longer apologize for being strong, for being confident, for being unshakable. Decide that you will start living by these rules, not someday, not when it's convenient, not when everyone else agrees, but right now, because right now is all you have. Tomorrow isn't promised. And the life you dream of isn't waiting, it's demanding that you step up and claim it. Close your eyes for a second and imagine the woman you want to be a year from now. She's confident, she's respected, she's unafraid to say no, she walks away from what doesn't serve her. She stands tall when people try to knock her down. She's financially independent, emotionally controlled, constantly growing, and unshakable in her self-respect. She is you. She's not a fantasy. She's not some unattainable version of yourself. She's you if you choose her. So the question you have to answer is this. Will you step into her, or will you let another year pass by? Still doubting, still waiting, still playing small. The choice is yours. And make no mistake, choosing to do nothing is still a choice. But it's the choice that keeps you exactly where you are. A smart woman doesn't wait for the perfect moment. She makes the moment perfect by deciding that she is ready, right here, right now. And you are ready. You've always been ready. You just have to decide that your future matters more than your fear, that your growth matters more than their opinions, and that your strength matters more than your comfort zone. So here's my call to you. Take one step, just one. Practice one rule today. Tomorrow, practice it again. And the next day, another. Build yourself piece by piece until one day you look in the mirror and realize you've become the woman you always admired, the woman you always knew you could be, the smart woman, the respected woman, the woman who doesn't just survive, she thrives. And when that day comes, you won't need anyone else to tell you who you are. You'll already know. At the end of the day, the smartest woman is not the one who knows everything, not the one who pleases everyone, and not the one who waits for permission to rise. The smartest woman is the one who owns herself fully, her mind, her choices, her voice, and her future. You don't need to ask for respect. You earn it by the way you carry yourself. You don't need to beg for freedom. You build it brick by brick through independence. And you don't need to wait for someone to save you, because the power to save yourself has been in you all along. So step into it, live it, protect it, because the world does not belong to the woman who waits. It belongs to the woman who decides